Hi everyone, it's Evangeline here at etrailer, and today we'll be taking a look at the Hollywood Rack's Destination 4-bike platform rack right here on our 2020 Lincoln Corsair. If you want to carry around multiple bikes, but you also don't want to pay too much, or you want something a bit more affordable, but you also like the stability of a platform rack, that's where the Hollywood Rack's Destination 4 bike rack comes in handy. It is technically on the lighter end for a 4-bike platform rack. You have some pretty cool features which allows you to carry bikes of different shapes and sizes. Some of the downsides are you don't get as many premium features. Also, that you can't carry, let's say, your carbon fiber frame bikes, but other than that, this is still a pretty cool bike rack. So let's take a look through this video at the bike rack, how it fits with your Lincoln Corsair, and see if it's the right fit for you, your bikes, and your adventures. So this does have a 35-pound weight capacity. So if you have your extra heavy electric bikes, probably not going to be the best fit for you, but most of your regular bikes are within that weight capacity. We'll talk about the way our bike is mounted to this bike rack. We have 3-point mounting points. We have 2 wheel straps, and we also have this frame mount. The frame mount is unique because one, the mast doesn't go too high, so it's easier to mount and dismount your bikes, and you also have a 360-degree mounting point. So notice how this can go side to side, up and down, as well as around, and that's going to be helpful with your bikes of different shapes, different sizes, and let's say you have your kids' bikes, your women's bike, or your normal bikes like this. So first, let's take off the bike by starting at the wheel straps. To release, you just press this lever and then lift this strap up all the way out. Then try to move this to the side as much as you can get it so it doesn't get caught up in your spokes. So that was one strap, and here's our second strap. Now we'll go over here to the frame and try to hold on or support your bike as much as you can as you release this frame out. So you press that lever as well, and then you pull this strap out. Try to get that out of the way, and from here you can lift your bike up. So there's different options for you for this. Since this is kind of a larger bike rack, it's kind of hard to maneuver around it to get the best grip. So what I like to do is I like to just tilt it slightly forward towards our vehicle, just enough so that we can get clearance, and then bring this over our frame. And with the bike out of the way, we get to take a closer look at our bike rack as we put the straps back. Remember, even if your bikes are not on the bike rack, please put those straps away into their holders. That way they're not flopping around as you drive around. But notice how these just secure and ratchet down over your wheel. You have this nice little cushion as well, just to help you out so you prevent scuffs and scratches on your wheel. You do have these cradles, and the way they angle downwards allows for different wheel bases. The maximum tire width those cradles can accommodate is up to 3 inches wide. One really cool thing that I discovered is if you want to access your hatch, yes, you do have to take your bikes off, but you also don't have to lower this mast. You could probably get away with just taking off the back bike, because with this mast up, as you open the door on your Corsair, notice how while it looks like it comes close, you definitely have clearance between your door, that mast, allowing you to get into your trunk, grab whatever you need, whether it's your bags, your helmets, your waters, without having to move the bike rack off completely. Since you are carrying around 4 bikes, a good amount of length should be set aside behind your vehicle. So we'll take some measurements just to see exactly how much. Measuring from our rear bumper all the way to the end of the bike rack where these nice plastic white reflectors are, it sits at about 38 inches of length added to the back of our Corsair. Since you do have a compact crossover SUV, it is nice to know that that gives you a little bit of extra clearance behind you, because whenever you're backing into your garage or trying to park into a tight spot, please don't forget that you have both bikes and a bike rack behind you. Now we'll take a look at ground clearance. So that's gonna measure at the end of your bike rack to the ground. We have a clearance of 22.5 inches. At the end of the wings to the ground, it's about 18 inches of ground clearance. And right over where the hitch is and that shank where they both meet, we have a ground clearance of 11.5 inches. So notice how we have that shank rise especially important here on your Corsair because as your front goes up, your back goes down when you go up those really steep inclines like your driveways or hills. So it's extra important that you have your bike sitting a little bit off the ground so they don't hit the ground. While we did see how we had hatch clearance with the mast up, you still need to fold this down if you want to fold your bike rack up. To do so, we have a knob right over here. You want to loosen that knob first, just enough so that you can lift this anchor point out of the way. And then this folds down. Now the thing with the destination is since you have a bunch of different options for mounting your bikes, you also have to kind of work around those different clamps too. So we're gonna bring this all the way down and then we're gonna use the strap from the cradle to secure that mast, just like that. And just like that, this is secured and it's ready to fold up. So we have this clip right where that shank is. You want to take that clip out and then you want to rotate this knob at the end to remove that bolt. Once that's fully released, just let that drop and then you can lift this bike rack up and against your vehicle. Remember where you took that bolt out? We're going to put that right back in and then tighten it down. So make sure you get that aligned. That's kind of helpful for making sure you don't push the bike rack too far in. And once you have that bolt tightened down, don't forget to secure it with that clip. So this is gonna be your storage compact position. This is gonna be the position you want your bike rack in when you're not planning on taking your bikes out, but you also don't wanna completely uninstall your bike rack. So we'll take some measurements just to see the difference that this storage position makes. Closest point, since it looks like it gets pretty close to your car, is going to be from the bumper to the frame, and that's about 3 inches of clearance. Now the length added to the back of our vehicle is going to be from the bumper to the end of the shank, and that sits at about 11¼ inches. And with our bike rack folded up, notice how our rear window is completely visible still, but it does cover up a fair amount of the rest of our vehicle. So our taillights are still visible on the outside of our bike rack, but they are kind of covered on the inside. Your backup camera is definitely going to be covered, which is okay because the Lincoln Corsair has a 360-degree of view around the vehicle. So you're still going to get some help as you back into your garage or back out of tight spaces. Now your license plate is going to be covered though. If that's going to be a huge issue where you are, you do have the option of just carrying your bike rack in the lowered position. The biggest issue with that though is that it's just going to be a large bike rack behind you. Now let's talk about how this fits into your hitch. So we have a 2-inch shank, which fits into our 2-inch hitch receiver. We have an anti-rattle bolt as well as a lock. So that lock is going to be helpful with securing your bike rack because if they can't unlock it, they can't unloosen it. Now you do get a tool to tighten this down, but you could also do what I do, which is I use a socket wrench with a 3/4 inch socket. Makes it so much easier to tighten that down as we tighten down this anti-rattle bolt. So let's do a quick shake test with the anti-rattle bolt tightened down. As we shake our bike rack, notice how I'm really just shaking the vehicle at this point, showing how as you drive around and you have that road vibration, that road stress, your bike itself has a nice secure fit to your hitch receiver, making for a smoother ride for your bike overall. Here on our test course, we'll start by going through the slalom. This is going to show us the side-to-side action, which simulates turning corners or evasive maneuvers. Once we get to the alternating speed bumps, we'll see the twisting action. This will simulate hitting a curb or a pothole or driving over uneven pavement. So my final thoughts about this bike rack is that if you want to carry around multiple bikes, let's say your whole family has bikes and y'all want to go for a bike ride, or you have a bunch of friends, this is a really good option where you don't have it where they're swinging against each other like a hanging style rack would, but you're also not paying the super premium price that our other 4-bike platform racks are. So this really solves that need for you just want regular bikes, but you also don't want them swinging into each other. Now, the downside to this is you don't have as much of a weight capacity. So if you do have like electric bikes, probably not going to be a good fit for you. But all in all, hopefully this video helped you out with the pros and the cons of the Hollywood Rack's destination bike rack. We saw that we had a good fit when it came to the hatch, even with the mast up, and we had pretty decent ground clearance. If you do have heavier bikes, you may want to consider taking a look at the Kuat Transfer V2 4 bike rack, which has an easier way to load and unload your bikes. Different option as well. But all in all, this was a look at the Hollywood Rack's destination 4-bike platform rack here on our 2020 Lincoln Corsair. My name is Evangeline, and I hope you enjoyed the journey.